Okay, I don't expect to get anyone in here. Um, I'm definitely either censored or I'm just, no one likes to hear anything I have to say. So, what I'm looking for are people who kind of think a little like me or see things the way I see them. I am an intuitive person. I'm not always right. A lot of times I'm wrong. Mostly I'm right when I want to make a video or something. And I'm looking at we're coming into World War III kind of thing. So first, I want to say, if anyone remembers me from 2018, 2019, I used to be in the chat section of In the Matrix on YouTube before he went to the MG show, um, which he's on Rumble now, but he was on YouTube then. Um, and I used to give some predictions, and I was telling them way back when it's all about Ukraine because it's going to start in Ukraine, and which it did. And now we're going to be in the Middle East. And I have some prophecy videos up, that World War III is also going to be in three locations, which would be Ukraine, Russia, and China with Taiwan, and moving westward and eastward, I guess, to Japan. And then also, of course, the hot spot that's always been there. It isn't so unusual that two religious states in the world border each other and they hate each other. Mm. Is that by design? And of the EU, the European Union, isn't it odd that only one country, isn't it odd that only one country Brexited out? And they're the ones who control all the money and started the Reformation basically with Lutheran in Germany, but with the new religion and the Christians and divided them up to 50,000 different sects. The Jewish people also are split into a million different sects. And, I'm not going to know. I don't know how many. I didn't want to say a million. That's just me saying arbitrary number. Um, and the Islamics and the Jews and the Christians and even the Buddhists and whoever, they're all divided. And I wonder if that isn't just by design. Because if I'm born a Catholic and I'm raised in the Catholic faith, then of course I believe everything, or my foundation in Christianity is through the lens of Catholicism. And if I study Catholicism, I can kind of agree with it. And that would go the same for someone who was born in the Jewish faith, and whatever sect or faith they were born in. So, we could use Christian, any Protestant faith, Baptist, Lutheran, Church of England, um, and Islam, the Shiites, and I forgot the name of the other ones right off the top of my head, but there's different. And so they're raised in that, and that's the foundation of their belief. So we have all this division among us, and I always say, oh, it's from the devil. But I find it very odd that England Brexited, but yet they're still trying to put other countries into the EU, but not England. And England controls all the money, and they have that, and they have that church, that King James Bible that's their Church of England's Bible. And so whether you follow the Church of England or not, well, actually, you're reading their interpretation of God's word. And all Bibles are interpretations, even in the Jewish faith. The Old Testament's still an interpretation. They don't have use the original Hebrew, change a lot of things around, and then they have the Talmud and some other books, and so you have the same thing with Islam, with the Quran, and other books, and so I find it funny. Like my favorite quote in the Bible is when Jesus is before Pilate, and Pilate's like question him, like, say something, I got your life in my hands. And Jesus just wasn't saying much. And then he just says, I just came to teach the truth. And then my favorite quote in the Bible is Pilate's response, what is truth? And so we're all looking for truth. And as the world murders each other and people are doing these crazy things, I wonder who's in control of all of this. I don't think man is smart enough to put all of this together. I just don't think he is. I see, UFOs, aliens. I've seen UFOs. I've had them follow me around for 3 weeks one time, which was, another crazy story of my life. I kind of grew up mixed. I grew up in a poor neighborhood in Patterson. That was an Arabic neighborhood. And then when I went to high school in Patterson, it's a kind of it's 10 blocks here is Arabs. Then you go 10 more blocks and it's Latino. You go 10 more blocks and it's black. It's kind of that kind of city. And then it'll turn back again. And, you have a little Italian neighborhood niche there. And that's kind of how Patterson is. So when I went to my first year of high school, I went to Kennedy High School. And they made the movie about East Side High School. And I lived in Patterson at that time. And Clark was the principal of East Side. East Side was a much smaller high school than Kennedy, like a quarter of the size and much more violent. And then I was in high school in the 60s. I never had any problem with anybody, no matter what, I was a boy, you have a couple of little, disagreements with other boys when you're a boy. But I really didn't have much of a problem there, though. I was funny. The next year I moved to Fair Lawn, New Jersey, which is 85% Jewish town in the public schools, and not Orthodox Jewish, just regular Jewish people. I have some friends there still from there. But I did notice that they didn't like people coming in from Patterson and other cities that were non-Jewish. In other words, if I was a Jewish kid came from Patterson, I would have been welcomed with open arms. But since I was a Christian from Patterson, they did not welcome my family with welcome arms in the school system. In fact, they kicked 3 of my brother and sister out of school before they reached high school, and me they stopped from graduating, which is a crazy story. So I want to talk about what starts wars. Where was this division coming from? And so I'm looking at the Middle East, and we have people, hey, we're pro-Israel, we're stand behind Israel, and then you have everyone else, hey, I'm pro-Palestinian, they're genociding the Palestinians. Well, the Palestinians attacked the Jews on October 7th. Yeah, they did. Hamas attacked them, and killed some people. Well, you had them locked up for a long time, for 3 generations. I don't know what you expected them not to rebel. You're making them wash in brackish water and lock them behind the fence. And if the kids threw rocks at you, you shot them. I mean, I remember watching that on the news. So how did that happen? I'm going to show you like a couple of little silly maps. I'm gonna share some things. So I like history. So I'm gonna share a history on I believe this is one here. This map that I'm sharing right now, and I hope you can see it because I'm not real good with these. Well, I can't, you're gonna have to make this bigger. But this is the Jewish population, a Jewish population. Oh my God, my head is all crazy. Population of the colonies from 1610 to 1750. Now, I couldn't find anything that gave the figures to whatever, and these are in the thousands. So this is the line for the American Indians. In 1619, there was around a little under 50,000 American Indians. By 100 years and 150 years later, you can see they're under 10,000. And then you can see, obviously, the growth of the white and then of the black population in America. So That's just pretty interesting in itself, because what happened to all these Indians? We know exactly what happened to them, and we don't want to be fooling ourselves, do we? So we killed all the Indians and we took their land. And not we, my grandparents came over in the 1900s, which was pretty much all over with by then. I'm going to share another screen with you. This screen here is, I'll start it at the top so we can kind of see what we're talking about. Jewish and non-Jewish population of Israel and Palestine, 1517 to present. This is a pretty good history of that side. So in 1517, you have 5,000 Jewish people, 295,000 non-Jews. Jewish people are 1.7% of that, and this is during the Ottoman Empire time. And so then we get to 1882. We kind of skip up here. We got 24,000 Jews living in Palestine population, and we have 207 non-Jews, 276 non-Jews. Now they're 8% of the population. But there's really no, there's problems, but not really problems. So this is right around when Zionism was created, to start bringing Jewish people over there. You have a similar thing going on in the United States right now. That would be immigrants coming in. So what the Zionists were doing, where they were sending Jewish people there, kind of like Biden flying people from South America to America. Kind of the same thing. Kind of like what we did with the Indians, kind of bringing white people from Europe over and, starting a new life, giving them free land. The problem with that is the indigenous people there get kicked out. So this is the start of Zionism. So you can see they leave these years out because guess what? The population actually probably dropped of Jewish people in that time frame. Okay. And they give theirs total population 300,000. So, we can see in 1918, we can see this go up. 1914, this is when Britain divided Persia up into all the other countries. So it's no longer the Ottoman Empire. This is English runs the Persian and the Ottoman Empire, and they split them up into all these countries. Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, none of that existed. That was all like Persia, the Ottoman Empire. So here we have a big increase because the Zionists are moving people over there. Okay. And so anyone who hasn't read the Albert Pike World War III thing, the Freemason Albert Pike, who was a war criminal, who the Freemasons adore, and he's required reading for the higher levels of the esoteric secrets of Freemasonry, which is invoking demons, basically. And Albert Pike was a devout Luciferian, and he had a vision from a demon about how to take over the world and create a Luciferian world. Okay, so Zionism also teaches, it's a kind of a crazy coincidence, Zionism teaches that when their Messiah comes, the Jewish Messiah comes in their Talmud, that they will all inherit Gentile slaves. Every Jew will be ruler of Gentile slaves, which is kind of almost where we are today, sort of, in a way, which is just kind of a weird thing, like not directly, but Orthodox Jewish people who are lovely people. That I have nothing against the Jewish faith. I have a problem with Zionism and these wars and these. When you can isolate a group of people and teach them a certain thing, like Catholics or Lutherans, and you could teach them to hate Catholics, or Catholics to hate this group, or Jews to hate Christians, which it says in the Talmud. The Talmud says, exterminate all the Christians and do anything you can to make their lives miserable. I mean, that's in their teaching. I mean, Christian teaching doesn't teach a lot of good things, some of the saints' writings, but we don't consider that as our teaching. But at any rate, we see this in 1914 and 94,000 to 595, 1918, 60,000 to 600. And so this is around when the Balfour Agreement was written and when Britain decided to give a portion of the land, but they were doing it through the League of Nations, and Britain had no right to give that land to the Zionists, but they did. But it didn't happen until, so I'm going to you could see the population's growing. They're bringing more and more people over, Jewish people, free transportation, free housing, all stuff. Go in Arab cities, say, hey, get out. This is ours now. Kind of like what we did with the American Indians, broke all the treaties and everything up. Same story. Man does not change. He wants to take what other people have, and he justifies it with his God, whatever God they believe in, and they justify it, and then they make the other people hate them and get mad when they fight with each other, then they all hate each other. And so here's 1939, you got 500,000 Jews there, 1946. And then in 1948, and you'll see 1.324 non-Jewish, 1,324,000 non-Jewish people, and they're 32% of the population. Then in 1948, they give them a little swat of land up in the north, 700, bring another 100,000 Jewish people over, free transportation, and all going to the promised land, our birthright. I don't know. You can prove you're an Israelite. You're from the line of Jacob. I'm not so sure you can prove that. And it's just in your head, and they're telling you that. Just like I can't prove anything about me in my ancestry, except my DNA says, 85% of it's from the Naples area of Italy. But I have Middle Eastern, actually Palestinian, right there, Israeli blood in me, in my DNA. But look at this. Only 156,000 non-Jewish people. Now, all of a sudden, in 1 year, they're 82% of the population. So did the British have an army and go in there with their army and help the Jews in there in 1948 and kick the Arabs out of their houses? Is that what happened? Am I remembering that correctly? Where did all these Arab people go? I would guess they went the same place that these Indians went. People are animals. People cannot stop killing each other. They don't know how to. They use God and you can see the population growing. Oh, wait. Now there's 6,870,000 Jews in 2024. Oh, wait, 7,208,000 Jews. Guess what? This 6 million number is a sacred number in the Talmud, because when 6 million Jews get murdered, holocausted, their Messiah will come back. So we have the red heifer thing, but no one's talking about the 6 million number. Well, 6 million Jews were killed in World War II, supposedly. That's what we're told. Well, obviously, the Germans did not like the Jews, and there's historical reasons for that, which I don't believe in any killing of anyone or genociding any race. The problem was there was only less than 200,000 Jews in Germany, and probably less than that in Poland and all the other countries that Germany occupied. So there is no way that 6 million Jews were killed during World War II. Anyway, even if there was by some chance, and that's just my belief, and I'm not anti-Holocaust, the Germans did not like the Jews, and Hitler was sending the ones he could catch, all the ones he caught, to concentration camps, and he was killing them and starving them. In fact, Hitler was killing anyone who disagreed with him. Gypsies, handicapped people, anybody who was against him in government, he sent to the work camps or whatever, or just murdered them. So, that was authoritarian, I can't say it, a totalitarian government, dictatorship. So here's a funny thing, though. Now we do have 6 million Jews in one place, for sure. And they're starting a war. So then we can go back to Albert Pike. And Albert Pike says, hey, you know what? If we get 6 million Jews, of all the Zionists, we get 6 million Jews, we can bring the Messiah back and and be in charge of all of the Gentiles. Well, there's so many Gentiles, and they're going to kill, when they go into the war there. I mean, Albert Pike's Third World War vision was to have the Jews and the Islamics kill each other off, exterminate each other completely. Well, the Zionists have a different view. So, when you take a small population of people, and there's only maybe 16 or 17 million Jewish people in the world, it's easy to control them if you can isolate them from the rest of the world. So mostly, and I've met a lot of Jewish people and Orthodox people, they do isolate themselves from the Gentiles, what they call the Gentiles, people who are non-Jewish. And so they don't really understand exactly how we live. I mean, Orthodox people don't even have televisions or radios in their house, which is very admirable, actually. There's a lot of beauty in Judaism, actually. Not Zionism, no. Not the stuff it says about killing everybody. That's not real happy stuff. So I'm just looking, and I just wanted to bring it to people's attention, and especially this. In 1948, you get an increase in the Jews, and from 1,324,000 to 156,000 people. Do you think they paid them for their land and their houses? Is the same thing happening in America now with the immigrants? Are they changing our country? In 2002, I did some work for the city of Lakewood, New Jersey, and I was talking to the mayor. And she said, in 2002, we have to get ready. We're going to get a big influx of Spanish people, and we need more Spanish stores and more, Latino stores, use correct terms. And we need to get ready for this influx. I know it was 2002 that I met with her, and she told me that, and I didn't really think much of it because there's always illegals coming over, I did not. Now that I'm looking at what's going on, I did not look at it in that light. They are changing the demographics, and they're going to start giving them the houses, just like they did in Israel, just like we did to the American Indians. It's no different. So who's controlling all of this? This is my thing. How is this possible? Now, I saw, a Gateway Pundit, which I like. I read some of their articles a lot. And Gateway Pundit is saying, well, we stand with Israel. And they showed some little video of the, which was kind of horrible, of what the Palestinians were doing to the Jewish people. And we've seen some of the video. I'm sure everyone has, and I don't have to put it on here. But I also saw a video on the other side of what they're doing in the Gaza Strip in Palestine there. To the Palestinians and the children. And I've never seen such horror in my life on either side. People are animals. People are sick in their heads. Wanting war, you have no clue what war is until it comes to you. And you're crying over your loved ones. Or you're bleeding out. Or got your limbs blown off. What is wrong with people? I don't understand this world. I don't understand the hate. I don't understand. You want to believe in God your way? Do that. Do not take other people's land and then lock them up and get mad when they retaliate against you, like the American Indians did to the colonizers that came here. When we just take their land, said, "Oh, okay." Well, lied to them, said, "All right, you guys go over here. We need some land here." They have a little war. Just the Indians, some Indians got really mad and started attacking back. So savages, they're savages. They're bad because we took their land and killed their women and children. They're savages, so then we got to kill them. Then we make another treaty, and then we just kept doing it till like you can't even really find a full American Indian anymore. Really, I would doubt there's very few that have that ancestry that prove they're 100% Indian. Just like Jewish people cannot prove they're Jewish, Israelis from Israel is from the house of Judah, is from Jacob. Jacob is Israel, is Judah, the tribe of Judah. So that's Israel. If you're not the tribe of Judah, you're not an Israelite, and you can't prove you're the tribe of Judah. You might be able to, some ancestry, you maybe prove through DNA that your family came from that area. You're still not going to be able to prove which one of the 12 tribes it came from. The promise was to Israel, and Israel is Jacob. So, anyway, this is what history is history. You go there, and it's just repeating itself. And I don't blame Jewish people. I just think that just like the American people, we're brainwashed. We're brainwashed into this sick system with the money. And it still bothers me about London leaving the Brexit, not being in the EU, yet they're trying to put Ukraine in the EU and in NATO. What the heck is going on in this? What is going on in this world? Who are the sick puppies controlling us? Are they actually even human? I mean, I've seen UFOs. I've never seen an alien, but not that I know of. I've had some religious experiences. I'm very intuitive. I also do get some premonitions, but I don't know the answers. I don't know what makes people so evil and want to hate and kill. Oh yeah, Israel should kill all the Palestinians. Are you nuts? Are you crazy? Oh, we should send weapons over there, money to Ukraine. Are you crazy? Are you thinking straight? It's going to come here. They already set you up. They're setting you up, and you're not looking everywhere else. You're not looking here. What do you think is going to happen now that Iran and Israel are fighting? The two only religious states in the world. What do you think is going to happen? They're going to annihilate each other, as Albert Pike's demon told them, and they predicted to happen, and they made happen. They put those people there. They told the Jewish people a lie. You could take that land back. It's your birthright. Most of the Jewish people today are from Khazaria. And the Khazarian king made the country religion Judaism. So everybody in Khazaria converted to Judaism. That doesn't mean they came from Israel. Are you kidding me? Do you know your history? Well, and how can you justify murdering and killing and taking land that doesn't belong to you? How did we justify that in the Americas? And Christopher Columbus, the things he did to the people in the Caribbean is horrible if you read the history. Well, I just don't. I wanted to come on here, and I'm going to put this stream on, and I'm going to put this on Rumble, and I'm going to get in trouble for putting it in groups because I don't get any shares. I'll probably get a strike here from YouTube. I already have 2 strikes for I don't even know what. I think it's because I talked about Jewish people. I don't know. I have a lot of great Jewish friends. I'm telling you, there's a lot of beauty in Judaism. There's a lot of beauty in Catholicism. I've been to Lutheran, seen Lutheran church. Actually, one of my daughters married a Lutheran, and she converted to Lutheran faith. It's everyone's wanting to hate everyone else. Like the Lutherans hate the Baptists hate the Catholics everybody's hating each other. And Jews, people are the same thing. The Orthodox Jews are against the reformists. I think it's called reformist Jews, the Jews who don't wear the little, the little black suits and everything. They're just regular. They hardly even ever wear the yarmulke. That's what I went to school with, the public school system. Orthodox Jewish people do not send their kids to public schools; they send them to Jewish schools. Um, and the problem with that is that they're isolated. And I was in Lakewood, and there's a large Orthodox community there. And kids were curious when I was in the area. They would ask me things because they didn't understand what they're being taught. It doesn't make sense. Like, they're taught that they're much more intelligent than Gentiles, and so that's not actually true. If you're getting a better education and you have a better standard of living, um, with financially, you don't have to pay interest on anything, on loans and stuff. Yeah, then you're gonna have a little bit higher educational level. Except for your educational levels are all education is all indoctrination. Whether you're in the public school system, or if you're in a Catholic private school or Christian school, or if you're in a Jewish school, you're being indoctrinated into only that and not to be accepting of other faiths. So here we are on the verge of World War III, and I worry for my children and my grandchildren because, hey, I'm going to be 69, and I realized, you know what? I don't have that much time left. And every time I try and talk about this stuff to my family or whatever, they don't want to hear it. You know, I mean, I do have a couple of cousins and nieces who who actually fact check me on a lot of things and say, "Oh no, this guy is actually right." You know, call me Uncle Tony or Cousin Tony or whoever I am to somebody. But there's only a couple. Most don't want to talk about it. I said, "I'll just live your life every day for what it is." I said, "I don't know. I'm a human being, and I have a family. And what's my part in this world? Am I just to stand by and watch and wait for them to come and kill my whole family? They're chemtrailing us. They're poisoning the shit out of us. I don't want to talk about the epidemic thing that went around and what they did, which was a lot of lies and a lot of nonsense. And I still don't think all the repercussions of that are over with. And I think they're going to do something else. I think that the World War III plan has to do with war, but also with civil war and lack of food and medical. They're thinning the herd, they're calling it. There's a little, yeah, I can put it on here. If I can find it, I'm going to just try and, I wonder if it'll let me do that like that. I was thinking if I could put, if you can be patient for a second. Oh, if you want to know the real truth about from a Jewish person, Benjamin Friedman. I'm going to just put that in there. You can look him up. Benjamin. I don't know if I spelled Benjamin right. Oh, look at, I didn't even put the first letter. Can't see my keyboard good. Come on, Tone. You look this guy up. He's given a talk in 1961 to Washington, D.C. So you look up Benjamin Friedman. I'll leave it on the screen for a bit there. In the meantime, I'm going to look for the other video. But, that gives a real good story about the truth about what happened. And he actually was a Jewish person. But not that, and I keep saying that, just please do not call me an anti-Semite person just because I don't like war and I don't like killing on any side and I can't see any reason to justify it. You know what? I think that there is a better solution. That's all. And that's exactly how I think about it. Now I've been talking nonsense here for 34 minutes. Let me see if I can find what I was looking for. I don't know, but then I can share. I know it's here. These are my video. You know, I stick stuff all over the place. I'm kind of funny like that. I'm going to
Facts and common sense are in. Yes, there have been corrupt empires. Yes, they've been.
No, that's not the one I wanted. I'm looking for. It's not actually him, although that did pop into my mind. I'm looking for the other guy. It should have been right over here in this. You know that the estimate that the I'm going to say it wrong, Deagle report that was done for the DOD, the estimated population for the United States in 2025 is 99 million people. So we're at like 360 million. And so they're lying about everything, you know. Even the adverse effects of the thing, was in the 40,000. The VAERS reports was in the 40,000s a month from under like 40,000, I'm sorry, a week from being like 500 in the year before. It was just an interesting little thing. And now why can't I find the video I'm looking for? God, I don't want to waste too much more time looking. Why? Did somebody like take it off my computer? Oh, and just so, just so people. Wait, that's not the one there. God, this stuff is so hard to figure out where it all is. Just see if I can share this, just so you know. And this is the things that bother me when I look about other faiths and stuff like that, because what happens. I'm going to share this. So here, I'm sharing this, and I'm going to read, what kind of people the Talmud pictures Christians to be. And this is just some, I think it was actually a priest who took things from the Talmud. And so, what does the Talmud say about religious worship of the Christians? Names given to Christians in the Talmud. Strange worship. I'm not going to even try and pronounce the Jewish words. Where idol worshippers. And it just goes through that. And this is a serves of idols, heretics, Edomites, race or people, Goy, strangers or foreigners, people of earth, idiots, flesh and blood, carnal men who are destined to perdition and who can have no communion with God. So according to the Jewish faith in the Talmud, we cannot go to heaven. Only Jewish people go to heaven. There's only one that I know of that the Jewish people say is a bad Jew that went to hell, and that would be Jesus. And this is the Samaritans, and what they teach about Christians. and this is taken from, I probably could find where it is. I just want to, idlers, Christians are worse than Turks, murderers, fornicators, unclean, compared to dung, not like men, but beasts. They differ only in form from beasts. Animals, worse than animals. They propagate like beasts, children of the devils. The souls of Christians are evil, non clean. After death, they go down to hell. And I mean, there's a few other ones here. It's forbidden to sell Christians anything connected to with their idlers or worship. Does not apply to atheists. It's only permitted to send a gift. The Anchorman feast days, does not believe in idol worship. So it says Christians cannot serve Jews not as a nurse, as a teacher, a doctor, a barber, an obstetrician. Christians must be exterminated. Harm must be done to Christians. A Jew commanded to harm a Christian. A Jew is commanded to harm a Christian whenever he can, both indirectly by not helping them in any way, and also directly by wrecking their plans and projects. Neither must he save a Christian who is in danger of death. Good must not be done to Christians, is not permitted to praise Christians. A Jew is not allowed to mention the things which Christians use for their idolatrous worship and their idols be spoken of. A Jew is not allowed to give gifts to Christians. A Jew is forbidden to sell his farm to Christians. It is forbidden to teach a trade to Christians. Okay, there's just enough of that nonsense. So just like this, all faiths have crazy stuff in them. And so if you're isolated and this is what you're being taught, this is what your belief system becomes. So if you're in a Baptist, and I'm not going to post a Baptist thing up and make this a million times longer, or, the Pope is the Antichrist, the 7 hills of where the Antichrist is coming from. Listen, I've been watching this world for 69 years, and I had a tough upbringing. Life has not been easy for me. And I can tell you this, the most likely candidates is the royal family from the royal family of England, because I find it strange about the Brexit thing, and also that they control the money through the Rothschilds. And then I have some other problems with some politicians who I'm not going to name. So I don't know who the Antichrist is. I know that every Jewish person who calls me an anti-Semite, because of what they've learned in Judaism, they are all Antichrist. But that doesn't have any meaning when you use it. So if I say to a Jewish person, you're an Antichrist, he'll go, yeah, I am. He doesn't have any problem with being an Antichrist. He's against Christ. If I say something that's factual about the Jewish faith, which I just read to you, they'll call me an anti-Semite, and somehow I can get arrested or something for that, or get every Jew in the world to hate me, even my Jewish friends. And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm trying to say here. I'm trying to say that something's wrong with people. They know how to treat each other. If you're Jewish and you think you're superior, you're wrong. If you're a Catholic and you think you're the only ones going to heaven, you're wrong. You don't know what God does. God does what he wants to. I don't know why people can't get along with each other. I have no clue, and it's troubling me. The images I'm seeing and the way I see things going and the way people are acting, even in department stores. And, it's very troubling to me. So anyway, I did 44 minutes here, and I don't have any comments from anyone and no one coming in, although it is late. It's 11:45 p.m. right now, and I started this at 11 o'clock. So what I would say to everyone is to God bless everyone. I do like a commandment that Jesus gave, 2 new commandments. And I think the answers in the commandments is to worship only God the Father, only worship God, one God. and the don't worship and put him above everything, even your family, your money, your property, everything. And the other thing that he gave that was a really um, was the second commandment was to love one another as I have loved you. That means as Jesus has loved us, and Jesus had perfect love, so much love that he gave his human life for us, for our sins, and to show us the way. You know, you kind of leave that part out. Oh, he died for our sins. Yeah, but you got to they put a little twist on there so that you can't see the truth. He's trying to show you that you should be able to give your life for another person. In other words, that another person's life is worth more than yours. So if everyone thought that way, it's love. It's perfect love. So to love your fellow human as Jesus loved you, not as you love yourself, because some people are a little bit like, like they're sadistic. They like to hit themselves in the head with the board, or like to get hurt. I'm just making up. They change it to like they call it the golden rule: treat others like you'd want to be treated. No, that's not one. Treat others better than you treat yourself. And I've been saying this for over 10, 20 years. Is we're in this thing of Jonah. We're like with Jonah. And so everyone says, well, Jonah's the story of Jonah's like Jesus was 3 days and 3 nights in dead, like when he was in the belly of the whale, it was a foretelling of that. Well, I don't know. Jesus was only dead for 2 days and 2 nights rather, and I don't know, 3 days. It wasn't 3 days and 3 nights, but the second part of that, Jonah says, Jesus says, don't you know that in the end times you will be judged by the people of Nineveh? And I'm not, you will be. See, the people in Nineveh, when Jonah went there and preached that this God was going to destroy the city in 40 days, what they did was the king got word of it, of Nineveh, and they all put on sackcloth, repented of their sins, made restitution. It's not so much just repenting. You have to make good for your sins. In other words, if you steal $1,000 from your neighbor and you go, John, God died for my sins. I had the guy who made me I went in a business partner with him, and he forged my name off the corporation and stole like $50,000 from me and went out and bought a new Porsche. And he says, hey, Jesus died for my sins. He's a born again Christian. This is not really, no, that's not it. And the Jewish people, they go, they say the prayer. Is that a Rosh Hashanah? I forget. Is it Yom Kippur? I forget. I'm sorry. I'm not good with names. Oh, God, forgive me for all the contracts I'm going to break in the next year coming. Like, you're expecting yourself not to be a good person. How could you be a good person? Like, I think there's a little misunderstanding in there in how that prayer should be worded and work. You should strive very much, and obviously you would say that, to be a good person and not break any contracts. Or if you stole $1,000 from somebody, to make restitution for that, even though you're sorry for it. That person's still hurting. You have to show them more love than love yourself. You should give them $2,000 back. That would kind of make up for it a bit, and ask for forgiveness of that person, not just to God. You have to answer to that person what you did to them. And it's even in what we say in words. And I'm very, I say things without thinking sometimes, and I'm maybe rude to my wife or rude to a friend or somebody I know, or even a person in the car driving. I might be like, look at this, person cut me off, and I might, act, yell at them or ride close to them, be a little angry. Like, I don't do that really anymore, but I did when I was younger. Everything, then you have to make up for things that you do to people, but sometimes you can't make up for them. So when you can't make up for them, you got to be a better person for yourself and do good things for others. So a lot of people would say, oh, I don't have to, Jesus died for my sins if you're a Christian, or a Jewish person says, "Oh, he's not Jewish. I don't have to help him." You know, they'll help another Jewish person, but they won't help you. That's one thing good about the Jewish. One of the beautiful things about the Jewish faith is that they really help each other and they work together as a people, and that's a good thing. They won't even take another Jewish person to court in the Orthodox community. Let the rabbi handle that stuff. They don't trust they don't even believe in our system at all. Well, we have a terrible justice system, and I know for a fact. I mean, I've been fighting corruption for 30 years. They took everything I ever owned away from me. The state sigged the mafia after me, the real mafia, the ones Giuliani indicted mafia. I mean, and they took everything I owned from me. The state did it because they're laundering money, and I had evidence of it. And I thought, in my naivety of being young, I'm really struggling with words tonight. That hey, there's justice. I'm right. I'm going to get my money. Clear Channel. I was a 1/3 partner in the Christmas drive-through shows, which has a lot to do with the other thing why I did Christmas drive-through shows. And I made Clear Channel $100 million in 3 or 4 years. They owe me a lot. They ripped me off. In fact, I took them to court. They change a judge at the last minute, and all the evidence gets taken out of the case. And it comes out they never paid me a penny, admitted I was a partner, and I owed them $150,000. Put me out of business. Want to put me out of business, made me lose my house, made me homeless. And do I hate those people? When I think those people who did that to me, I think they're stupid and they don't know any better. They think that's the way you're supposed to operate in life. Steal what you can from other people and make as much money. They made the one guy, Dominic Roncacci, they call him Ron Case. They made him COO of Clear Channel. He lied right on the stand, said that was his idea to do the shows and whatever with Clear Channel. They run all the amphitheaters in the country. I had a letter from the guy I originally 3 years before he even was there when I was proposing it to this. It was actually run by the state then, the Art Center in New Jersey, and they wouldn't let that in as evidence. That he was an assemblyman in New Jersey, and in fact they kicked him out of being an assemblyman because he gave me that letter because they launder in billions of dollars, tax dollars, out through the mob. That's how they do it. They give that mob companies. See, they say, the mob went into business. No, the mob went into the laundering business, into legitimate businesses getting contracts from the government and then laundering the money, the excess profits, which are tax write-offs, and to NGOs and whatever candidate they want. So they, can donate money to, and they're tax deductible where they tell them to donate it to, which is kind of the same thing Bill Gates does, except for he circles it to himself with the CDC. The CDC has the CDC.gov. Then you have the CDC Foundation. So they have the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and they donate money, and then they donate money to these causes and other things, and then that money they invest money into the companies that get the contracts with no bid, go through do the same thing in New Jersey. They use I'm in New Jersey. They do it in New York. They do it in every state. They can't fix this problem. No one can fix what's going on. All you can do is be a better person. And I'm just looking for somebody like, Tony, talk to me. I have nobody to talk to about this stuff. Understand me. Maybe I'm not speaking clearly. I'm not really sure what the problem is. But I see this world is something terribly wrong with people. This is evil. Anyone asking for war or saying Israel should kill those people is out of their mind. The Zionist Israel government there has been killing Palestinians since 1948. They were on the fence, when they put the fence up and put them in Gaza. When they did that, and the kid and they were protesting and throwing rocks at the guards at the fence. They were shooting the kids and killing them because they were throwing rocks at them. Kids were throwing rocks at tanks. They were shooting them. You know, I was on the news. I watched it when I was a young man. Please, this is not a new thing going on over there. You can only beat somebody up. You take a dog and keep beating it and see if one day it doesn't bite your ass. Then you're going to call it a rabid dog or a crazy dog after you beat it every day. I mean, and I'm kind of using an extreme example, but people, you can't treat people with disrespect and not expect to get some kind of neighbors do to each other in the neighborhood. You have a neighbor who's next door is a little bit of a wacky guy, and you know I don't argue with them at all, but you know get dirty looks from them and stuff. You know I had a neighbor 20 something years ago that came over and started a fist fight with me, and I punched him in the face, and something I never do, and you know he cried into court. He's on my property trying to fight with me. He's drunk. When I found out it would, I hit him, and then I said, "Oh, this guy's drunk." Like I didn't know he was drunk at first, but I'm just saying that I'm in court he's crying like a baby, coming over wanting to fight me, thinking I called the town on him for something, and it wasn't me. But in his mind, I was the guy who did it, and he came over to fight with me. And then when I punched him and whatever, then I was the bad guy, you know. And that's what's going on here. See, Israel. The Jewish pushed the Jewish people in there, told them, "Oh no, this is your birthright. These people have to leave." I don't know. Let's give all our land back to the American Indians. So the Jewish people punched them in the face, the Palestinians, and then they got mad when they're the bad guy. No, that's not how the world works. You know, I don't know how anyone can't see that. How can you be so shallow-minded as to even if you're Jewish, you cannot believe what's going on is right. There is another solution, and it's not. I just don't understand. I really don't. God bless everybody. I mean, I'm just rattling on here. I'm not gonna get a lot of views on this video, and I already know that. I don't really care. I'm not monetized. I don't get any money. This is just me speaking my mind and getting it off my chest a little bit. I don't understand what's wrong with people. And no matter how hard I try, I can't understand it. I don't know why anyone wants anyone to kill anyone, and women and children. You know, go watch this video. I'm going to put up another video. Wait, where is it? Oh, I have to pull it up here. I'm just going to put the link to the video on here. I'm not going to put the video because no one will watch it anyway because people are lazy. I don't want to. Everyone has their own views. Just like me, I guess. I mean, I watch a lot of videos, but this one here, this is the other side of the story. So if you're pro-Israeli, or if you're Jewish, you know, whatever, if you want to see what the other side of the story looks like, this video here, it should let me show the link. And that video there, and that video is called Don't Turn Away, and it's about Palestine, what's going on in Palestine. It was done by a person, or shared by a person called Syrian Girl Partisan, something like that. It's very disturbing, and so is the stuff that happened on October 7th is also very disturbing. And I just can't believe people act that way. I can't believe people want to cut people's heads off because they don't believe what they believe. I'm in disbelief. I'm in disbelief of the remarks I get on my Facebook page when I post a Catholic thing, like from some Protestants, like holy mackerel, like you're posting lies about Catholicism. But that's what it really all comes down to. Everybody has their own truth. So my favorite quote in the Bible, Pontius Pilate, what is truth? What is love? What is it to be a human being, and what is our responsibility? Are we the Good Samaritan that went by and helped the guy who was mugged and in a ditch? Or are we just going to film it and watch it? or watch it on TV and disassociate ourselves with it. We have the most corrupt government. I can't even believe the imbeciles that are in charge. God bless everyone. Take care.